the Scooby Doo episode,
Mhm.
I brought it over to Joe Barbera. I go, hey, Mr. B, I wanted to show you this new episode that I did. It's Johnny Bravo meets Scooby Doo, right? He's like, okay, here we go. So we started playing it, and he's watching it, right? This is like right after lunch. So sitting there watching, and like I did everything that I could to make sure that we had the walk cycles, because in order to do that episode, they gave me the whole library of Scooby Doo stop animation at my disposal, which is amazing. And so I sent all the walk cycles over to Korea to be animated, and they kept coming back, and they didn't take the walk cycles. They just did whatever. They did new walk cycles. And I'm like, no, do the exact same walk cycles. And they're like, you mean just photocopy them? I'm like, yes, photocopy them and just put them on there. That's what I want. And so when they did it, it was awesome. Anyways, that's the first thing Joe Barbera said after he was watching. He's like, oh, you got the walk cycles right. I was like, yeah, awesome. You noticed. Thank you. And so he's watching, and then he's watching, and then he's like falling asleep. And I was like, oh. I go, and then he'd like sit up. It's like, and then he totally fell asleep like within 4 minutes of the 11-minute show. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but there's an unmasking part.
Yes.
In the show where they unmask people, and then you'll say the ghostly gardener, and then at one point, Don Knotts, and then the open one said Joe Barbera, and then Joe Barbera goes like sat up and stuff, and I was watching him, and as soon as he sat up, I like looked at the TV like I didn't notice you were sleeping, but I kind of looked at his corner where I kind of looked. He woke up and he just like looked around and he goes like laughed. And then the show is over, and then he thanked me for keeping the integrity of the characters. He's like, are you doing more with our characters? I'm like, yeah, totally. He's like, great. Well, bring them by next time you do. And I'm like, okay, I totally will. Thanks, Mr. B. That's awesome. So anyway.